Welcome or welcome back. My name is Yu Wing. You can call me Yu Win or Win, and I'm happy that we're together in this moment, whenever and wherever you are joining. And so you are watching a video in my 90-day challenge to post a video so that I can speak my truth and share my story. And so if it's something that you've been working on or something that you have been thinking of, I hope that it sparks something for you. And um, maybe when I have a chance in the video notes, I wanted to share a quote from Sue Monk Kidd. She wrote about, like when can you call yourself a writer? And something that she heard was really resonant. I can't remember it verbatim, so I will include it in the notes. I also like to share a practice in the beginning of in the beginning of the videos. And so something that I do is I have a note on my phone, and it's one that I add to whenever someone sends me a very poignant or meaningful message, whether it's through text or like email or something. And so I copy and paste it into this note, who it's from, and like the date. And then I will refer to it when I need a pick me up or when I need to be reminded of my impact. And so I just wanted to share that with you in case it's something to consider for your own toolbox. Then I thought I was going to talk about something, but I forgot. I got so excited about sharing the practice. Um, I have been harvesting. Um, Today we have persimmons, the Fuyu persimmons. And so this morning I was out trying to harvest. There's still half a tree. Um, so I really look forward to being able to be connected to a community where I can share and maybe, um, have people that I can meet up with and share those fruits with. And also for me to figure out like when harvest season is and things to look out for. I've never really considered myself someone who does this. It's just, oh, there's fruits on the tree. Okay, gotta pick them. But I know more now, so probably I should take some notes and make it a little easier on myself this next year. I am super excited for December. I I've been feeling this shift in energy all throughout November. It's been a very potent kind of month, and a lot of energy feels like it's changing and shifting, and that I am also. And so, one of the things that I really, really like to do, and if I've already mentioned this and you've seen it, I'm going to geek out about it a little bit again here. Um, but I really enjoy reflecting on the year that has passed. And so one of the things that I used to do in December was I would go on a retreat and sort of just go away somewhere by myself. And I'd like bring my journals and my pens and my markers and my yoga mat. And it would just be some time for me to like get away, get clear, and think about what had happened. And so for most of the years that I did this, I had so many questions. I think one year I had like 120 questions, something ridiculous. Probably like different variations of similar questions, but I always found it really difficult to think of the year ahead. I barely got that far. Maybe a couple of years ago, 2022, 3 years ago. There was something that I was working on, like a worksheet, workbook, and it was trying to get me to think ahead. And I was like, ugh. So then for 2023, I was trying to like choose an intention for the year. So, like, to have a theme for the year. And then I was trying to remind myself that at the beginning of the month. Um, but I soon lost traction on it. And so it was last year after meeting a friend, and I found out that she also liked to reflect on the year and plan ahead for the next year. I was like, oh, maybe we can do it together. So we got together, and she had all these crafting supplies for us. And we had our notebooks and our journals, and we just started doing whatever we wanted to do. And she had some questions that she used, really simple questions. And um, I then found, I forget what it was called. I have to see if I can find it. But I was also talking to a friend about it. And essentially, I looked at 8 dimensions of my life, like financial, community, environment, and like overall health. And then I rated it on a scale of 1 to 10. And then I wrote down the things that contributed to that, like positively, and the things that, took away from it. And then I tried to set goals based on that. And so then it was just kind of wild because, well, one, I'd never done that before. I'd never gotten that far. And then two, about halfway through the year, I was like, oh, maybe I should check in on my goals because I'd never done it before, right? And so it was kind of just really nice to have something and then to be able to kind of do a mid-year check-in. And so I'm excited for this upcoming month to do the reflection and to look at my goals and to look at the assessment and to assess where I'm at now, like with each one of those 8 dimensions. And I'm just really excited for that and to see what might show up for the planning ahead, to see what I might want to dream of or see what I let myself want, which seems to be a theme recently. If you know, you know. Um, and so, yeah, maybe that was the thing that I wanted to talk about. I just got really excited and I was like, I gotta tell you, I gotta talk about it. Um, I don't have 120 questions this year. Uh, but I was like looking at it because I was like, well, should I start now? It's great. I'm also really excited because one of my dear friends, one of my Rise and Thrives, she got me a planner for this year or 2026. And I'm trying to figure out how to integrate that into next year and, some of my processes and practices and kind of see what works best. But it's an astro planner from Shani, and I'm gonna start by putting in like my natal chart information. So I'm really curious about what that might bring for 2026. And I don't know, I just got really excited in the last 24 hours because I was listening to quite a few videos that kind of showed up on my YouTube feed. And a lot of them were saying something similar. So I'm just excited to see kind of what unfolds. And I believe that source supports me in all ways. And so I'm just excited to see what happens when I trust and I have faith in something. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also really excited. I'm continuing to read Writing Creativity and Soul. And it's a different section of the book called Mystery. And so um, she was mentioning how somebody had asked her, like, oh, do you have any writing teachers or mentors? And she um, shared two who are essentially authors that she read, not necessarily people that she met with in person, but how the books that she read from them and what she learned from them through those books really what's the word? Influenced her writing. And so now I want to finish reading this book and then take a look at um, like books by those authors. And it's also fun because I've also come across a lot of videos and probably AI created content on Carl Jung, the psychologist. Apparently, um, in I Don't Believe in Astrology by Deborah Silverman, she mentioned that he was also an astrologer. I'm like, oh, maybe that's why I jam with his stuff. So I'm interested in taking a look at some of his books. I did see that my local library has some, so that'll be exciting. And then she also mentioned Thomas Merton, his autobiography, The Seven Story Mountain. I believe that's what it's called. So I'll be interested in checking those out one day. I also want to make some progress in my grief coaching course. So something that I'll be working on probably as, the days get darker where I am. And, if it's a bit chillier and I'm inside, which I usually am anyways, let's be real, um, that I'll have a chance to continue to explore. And then, oh shoot, I think it was a Peter Crone video that I came across. But he was saying something about like how a lot of people in the spiritual world are seekers, right? Like someone who seeks information and learning. And then he said something about like how because of that, it's like from a place of lack because you don't have something, you're missing something, you're looking for something. So then he was trying to propose like, oh, okay, you all in this room are going to leave as spiritual explorers instead, right? And so he was trying to make the case for explorations and exploring. So I was like, I kind of liked that. So I'm just going to let that marinate a little bit as well, so chatty. It's probably because I had a conversation with my Rise and Thrive and I feel so excited and I want to I just want to talk and chat about all the things that we're talking about. Um, like, did I talk about this? It's true. I can't remember who I say what to anymore. But there is a quote within the Theravada Buddhist canon. And I don't know if it translates into other like sects of Buddhism. Um, But I guess there was a question from somebody to the Buddha about, um, like, is like spiritual friendship like half of the journey or something's like Kalyanamitas, right? Like, is that a part of the journey? And I think the Buddha like responded, oh, it's the entire journey. And I was like, huh. I mean, I haven't studied the canon, so I'm not sure, but sometimes I like to reflect on that when I'm just so blown away by the people in my life and the souls that I have come into contact with and that are in my orbit. And I'm feel like I'm glowing because I get to talk to my Rise and Thrive and Ee! Oh, yeah, so excited. Um, whenever I think of my dear souls, I think of that quote and I think there's something else that I had heard. It was probably Ajahn Jayasaro, but in a talk that he had given, um, he had said, what did he say? Oh, I think he was talking about how there are rocks at the top of a mountain, and then there are rocks like at the sea and like closer to the ocean, sea level. And that when you're in relationship with others, right? You're like those rocks like near the sea. And because you're in relationship, you're like rubbing against each other. And in the rubbing against each other and like interacting, you're becoming more smooth. Whereas the higher up you go, like up a mountain, the rocks are scattered and they tend to be jagged and sharper. And it could be because, this analogy of like people and being in relationship and finding ways to navigate all the things that happen when you actually interact as people. So that also makes me think of how amazing it is to be on a journey with souls, whether it's in the physical manifestation or in an energetic manifestation or a spiritual sense. Yeah, that's what I got. So I'll end this video. Um, and I really do hope, really, really do hope that unconditional love is a part of your life. Hopefully in the giving and in the receiving. Um, I just, I just want you to believe that who you truly are matters and is important, and you don't have to change that. And there's magic and value in who you are. And if there are things you want to accomplish, or if there are qualities you want to improve on, like you can. And then at your core, at your essence, your nature, your true self, your truth, um, you're not broken. You're whole. You're complete. And in that wholeness, you are lovable and important and you matter. And maybe people can't always see it. Maybe those people um, are phasing out of your life, or maybe there's an opportunity to learn something in it. But I don't want you to feel like you're broken or that something's wrong with you or that you can't celebrate the magnificent person and soul that you are. So I'm going to leave you with that. I look forward to connecting with you again if we get the chance to. And whether we do or not, please take good care of yourself. Okay. Bye bye.